Hello, I'm Brenda, and yes, Carnivore found me. So let's do a little recap while I work on my hair, do my little retwist. So, in my last video called Did the Carnivore Diet Cure My Prediabetes, Fatty Liver, and High Blood Pressure? So, in that particular video, I started off talking about my retirement. I went from there and I talked about how much I was eating, considering I had nothing to do. I talked about the Krispy Kreme donuts and the hot light. Talked about getting fatter and fatter and fatter. And then I finally contacted my doctor after I had started experiencing symptoms of neuropathy. I talked about setting up an appointment with my doctor and going in and having blood work done. I also talked about after my blood work came back, finding out that I had prediabetes, I had fatty liver, and I had high blood pressure, and they put me on blood pressure pills. So that was something. And then I also talked about the nutrition sheet that she gave me, telling me to eat the fruit, the vegetables, the fiber, and whatnot, and how I usually go overboard with anything that I'm trying to do. I like a challenge, so I went to the store, I bought all these vegetables and stuff, and I think that's where I ended off. So now that that was all over, I'm on the vegan diet, so I guess that made me a vegan. So I started off with, as I told you before, I was doing 50% raw vegetables. I did fruit and vegetables. So I started off that very, very first week and I got a lot of energy, whole lot of energy. And that was good because I didn't really have a lot of energy. And so the very first week was a lot of energy. I still felt the neuropathy stuff going on in my hands and fingers and stuff, but I felt pretty good that week. The second week, I still had some energy, but I started feeling a little bad. And then, as time went on, certain things started happening to me. Um, I couldn't sleep. I So my anxiety got worse. I couldn't sleep at night. When I would fall asleep, I would wake up with a very, very anxious feeling. Um, and my depression was really, really bad. And so as time went on, I kept getting worse and worse to the point where, I actually thought that I was dying, especially with the heart palpitations. They would really scare me. So at night, I'd be laying in my bed most of the night because I couldn't sleep because of the pain, the neuropathy pain. And then I started feeling it coming up my leg and up my arms and stuff. So I couldn't sleep because of that. And so I'd be up all night. And then when the morning came at about 6 a.m., 6 or 7, around the time the sunlight came out, I had this overwhelming feeling that I needed sunlight. So I'd get up out my bed and I'd open my curtains and I'd make a pallet in my floor and actually lay down in the floor getting sunlight. And I tried to sleep. I tried so hard to sleep. It was like at that time I was sleeping every third day. And then by the time I would fall asleep and it would seem like I've been asleep for 3 or 4 hours and I wake up, it might have been 30 minutes or so. And I wake up with that anxious feeling and it just got worse and worse and worse. Then about around the 3 month period, I woke up well, I didn't tell you what I was feeling. Let me go back a little bit in the middle of that when I used to wake up in those mornings and make that pallet on my floor and I actually felt like I was dying and I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, is this what it feels like to get old? Is this what people go through? Is this a normal feeling? And I really felt awful. And I kept thinking, here it is. I'm retired. I have the opportunity to spend time with my family, go places, travel, and do things and I can't do anything. It was horrible. And so I woke up that morning. I got up and I said, let me go and get me a banana. After I was laid on the floor, getting some sunlight, couldn't sleep at all. So I said, let me go downstairs and get me a banana. So I went downstairs to get a banana. I came back up. I ate it. Okay, so this particular morning, I got up from off the floor and I went downstairs to get a banana. I ate the banana. I laid back down on the floor, couldn't sleep, started feeling the neuropathy pains up and down my legs, and my feet, and my hands, and my wrists. So after I couldn't sleep and I was feeling all that pain, I decided, well, let me get up. I got up and I went and sat outside on my balcony so I could get some sunlight. As I'm sitting there, all of a sudden, I just started trembling, uncontrollable, just shaking all over my body, sweating profusely. And I called for my daughter, and she ran upstairs to me, and she ended up having to take me to the hospital. So I got to the hospital, and they hooked me up with IVs and whatnot. And then they said just before I was leaving, and they was giving me, I guess they called it a diagnosis. It didn't really tell me anything. They said that I was having an allergic reaction to something, right? So still I'm thinking to myself, not really even catching on at that time. So I came back home and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, allergic reaction to something. What could I be allergic to? So after I got home, I was really, really tired. I laid in my bed. My daughter she fixed some bacon and eggs and she bought me some. And I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be trying to lose this weight before I go back to my doctor so I can show her how good I did. But I decided one day it's not gonna hurt me. So I ate the bacon and egg. Next thing I know, I woke up in the morning. Still not really realizing that, hey, I slept all night. I woke up in the morning and got myself together. I went downstairs. I was going to get me sliced apples with lemons. I love to slice my apple up and put it in lemon juice. And so that's what I was getting ready to get. And all of a sudden, I was like, hey, you slept all night. Hey, you didn't feel any neuropathy pain. So I'm thinking, what in the world is going on? So then I was like, oh, maybe they put something in that IV bag that they hooked me up to. Still not realizing what's going on. So I was like, maybe, yeah, maybe that's what it is. So I went on, I got my apple, came back upstairs, sliced and started eating it. 30 minutes later, my feet started with the neuropathy, the pins and the needles, moved to my hands. And I'm like, what is going on? So then I decided from that, I said, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I missed a step. Somehow I ate another banana before I ate that apple. And when I ate the banana, that's when I started feeling the neuropathy pains, right? And my silly butt said, okay, it's potassium because potassium is in bananas. That's what it is. I'm allergic to potassium. That's what I said. So then I started looking at YouTube videos and whatnot. And and then I started looking up YouTube videos, and there was such a thing as being allergic to potassium. So then I decided, okay, I'm gonna eat this apple with my lemon juice, and I decided I'm gonna start writing things down, you know. And so I ate the apple, the same thing happened. 30, 45 minutes after I ate it, I started feeling the neuropathy pains. I started doing the sweating and whatnot. So I started keeping track, and it just popped in my head. When you came home from the hospital, you ate that bacon and eggs that your daughter fixed for you, and you fell asleep and you didn't feel no pain. Try it again. So I decided to try it again. I ate it, didn't feel any pain at all, you know? And so I said, well, this is strange. I don't know what's going on. This is odd because, they say bacon is not good for you, and they say eggs raises your cholesterol. But I mean, I didn't want to feel sick, so I kept eating the bacon and eggs. In fact, I decided, let me set up an appointment to go to an alternative doctor, like a herbal doctor. And so I set up an appointment, but the appointment wasn't, it was like 3 weeks out. So for the next 3 weeks, I ate bacon and eggs. I figured once I get to him, then, he'll tell me what to do, figure something out, and then I can go back on my diet. So 3 weeks passed. It's finally time for me to go to my alternative doctor. I get there and I say to him, I tell him the whole story that I've just told you. I tell him the story, and I tell him that I've been eating bacon and eggs for 3 weeks straight. And for some reason, it doesn't make me feel bad. Every time I put vegetables in my body or fruit, it makes me feel bad. I told him about the prediabetes. Here's what he said to me, and I was shocked. He said, "You were diagnosed with prediabetes." He says, "So that means you don't need any sugar in your body." He says, "When you put anything in your body that has sugar in it, then it's going to raise your blood sugar level." He says, "The reason why the bacon and egg did not make you feel bad is because it's protein and it has no sugar in it." And I was shocked. I was like, well, damn, that makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. And so from that moment on, I decided, well, I'm just going to eat this bacon and eggs till I go back to my regular doctor. And so that's what I started doing. So by the time I got back to her, well, let me back up just a little bit. Remember the three diagnoses that I told you about? The prediabetes, the fatty liver, and the high blood pressure? Those were the three diagnoses I had. However, after I went to the hospital, after I went on my vegan diet, and I came out the hospital and they called me, I guess they'd run some tests and the tests had come back. Guess what other diagnosis I had? A bacteria infection, H. pylori, and what's the other one? E. coli. And the only thing I was eating was vegetables. That's all I was eating. And so when I told my doctor about it, at first they assumed that the allergic reaction had come from the blood pressure pills. However, they didn't know that I hadn't even started taking the blood pressure pills. The only thing I was eating is fruit and vegetables like they told me. And the reason why I hadn't started taking the blood pressure pills is because I had said that I was going to prove to my doctor that I could lose weight and get my blood pressure back down. So I didn't have anything in my body other than fruit and vegetables. And that's when I told her, when I went back to my general practitioner and I told her what was going on. I didn't want to tell her, because I didn't want to hurt her feelings about that nutritional plan that she had given me with the fruit and vegetables. But I did tell her that every time that I eat fruit and vegetables, I start having the symptoms. So I thought she was going to be upset with me eating meat. However, she said, well, just do a diet restriction and only eat what doesn't make you feel good and keep up with what you're eating. So I was surprised. And so that part went pretty well. And so then from there, I just came home and I was eating. I was afraid to stretch it out too much. So I was still eating bacon and eggs. I had incorporated liver into my diet at that time. So I was eating bacon and eggs and liver. And so then I said, well, let me try fish, bacon and eggs and liver and fish. And during this time, I started researching on YouTube. And as I'm researching, I came up with all these people that were in a community called the carnivore community. And I was shocked. That's when I actually realized there were a whole community of people that were eating meat. They were carnivores. And I just kept researching and researching and listening to these different people and their testimony. And they talking about how carnivore healed them from this and healed them from that and healed them from this. Now, I hadn't gotten all that far yet, but I know it was making me feel better. That's what I know for sure. So don't forget to like, share, and comment. And remember, if you'd like to share this video or redistribute it in any way, feel free to do that. Wait, 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 wait. I'm not done. My next video, I'm going to tell you all the ailments and diagnoses that I had and if carnivore cured them all. So now you can like, comment, and subscribe. Talk to you later.